Good afternoon. This special meeting of the 73rd term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Please take the opportunity to silence any electronic devices. At a minimum, please turn them off or again, silence them. We're going right into business today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Ramos. Glover is not here. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. We will now proceed to adoption of the journal. Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Mr. President, the journal for the June 12, 2023 proceedings are on the council member's desk.
Without objection, the journal will be adopted. Hearing and seeing none, the journal is adopted. Communications from the mayor can be found on page 2 of the agenda. At this time, I would like to recognize Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we read short titles for second and third reader for the duration of the meeting.
If there is no objection, we'll be in short titles for duration of the meeting. Hearing and seeing none, we are in short titles. Bills to be introduced, bills to be read out today will be first City Council Bill 23-0177R. Madam Clerk, if you could please introduce the first bill.
Yes. 230177R, reduction of the ordinance of estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts. Sponsor Costello and President Mosby.
Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for ordinance of estimates.
Yeah, this is the BOPA resolution.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. This resolution reflects a series of discussions that the council and the administration have had regarding the governance and board issues that exist at Baltimore Office of the Promotion and the Arts. I want to be very clear that I think everyone on this council supports the incredible staff at BOPA and the great work that they do every single day. In addition to that, I think it's important to note that we have all committed that we are not going to reduce funding related to the arts in our city, despite what people may have said or heard. This resolution essentially outlines the reasons why we are proposing an amendment for the entire council's consideration related to a cut to BOPA, which is a 3/4 cut to their operating appropriation. It does not include a cut to the approximately $300,000 in grants that they oversee each year for small artist grants. We will be making clear to the BOPA Board of Directors that changes are required. The mayor is going to be appointing a Arts Commission that will be making recommendations on the future of the City of Baltimore's relationship with BOPA as an organization. And if we see demonstrable progress with respect to what the asks are going to be based on the recommendations of that commission and based on the changes that we're asking for with the Board of Directors at BOPA, then the council would be willing to consider an additional quarterly appropriation of BOPA prior to the end of Q1 fiscal 24, which would be September 30th, 2023. At this time, I move the resolution favorably, Mr. President.
Just to make sure we have everyone clear, the intent on the current jobs and pins associated with BOPA as it relates to this cut, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. We value the individuals who work at BOPA every single day, that work tirelessly to uplift our local artist community and to put on world-class events. We want to be very clear that the proposed action that the council is considering today in no way, shape, or form jeopardizes the employment of any individual currently working at BOPA. Thank you, Mr. President.
And then we're going to go for an immediate adoption.
Yes, Mr. President. I move to suspend the appropriate rules for immediate adoption of this resolution.
Without objection, the rules will be suspended for immediate adoption. Hearing and seeing none, Councilman Costello.
I move the resolution favorably.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
President Mosby,
Aye.
Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello,
Aye.
Stokes, Ramos.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This motion is approved. The resolution has been adopted. Next up, Madam Clerk.
City Council Resolution 23-0178R, amendments to the ordinance of estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Sponsor President Mosby, Middleton, Costello, Bullock, Conway, Glover, McCray, Schleifer, Stokes.
Body would like to recognize Chairman Costello. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution outlines 22 separate amendments that collectively make up a agreement after weeks of negotiation with the administration, with myself, your office, and staff as we have worked through this budget process. I'm proud to say that the results of these negotiations and the proposed amendments to this budget will help fund items that are council-wide priorities around public safety, around opportunities for our youth, and around making sure that the necessary upgrades are made to city facilities for our hardworking employees and to the city vehicle fleet in terms of public safety with respect to fire apparatus. The amendments will be explained in more detail as the council considers them. At this time, Mr. President, I'd like to suspend the appropriate rules for immediate adoption of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules for immediate adoption will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, they are suspended. Before I turn it back to you, and before we go into vote, Chairman Costello, I'd like to say a couple things about this process. Obviously, this is the first time that the City Council has had the ability of doing this in 125 years. Coming into this term, we knew that we would have this this authority that was granted by the voters. We pushed and pushed and pushed to ensure that we would be in the right vein and have the right resources to leverage this opportunity and time. How we were able to get some, we weren't able to get all. But I think as it relates to the abridged time frame that we had and the resources and expertise that we have, that the council did a yeoman's job of really coming together collectively and executing a budget process that our constituents can be proud of. I think that many of you came well prepared during the budget hearings, really asked tough questions. And on the flip side, I think the administration was really, really willing to answer those questions and be as responsive as possible. I think this was new for everybody. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of lessons learned moving forward. As I've stated in the past, for 125 years, the budget process has been 2.5 weeks for the council, or 3 weeks for the council. Now moving into this next phase of the council, the budget process should be year-long, ensuring that we're doing things like the revenue certification, ensuring that the quarterly projections and working with the finance department are kept up, and ensuring that throughout the course of the year, the agreements that have taken place throughout the budget are actually happening and happening through the legislative process and the legislative work. So again, my hat goes off to each and every one of you for all of the hard work that you've put in. But on the flip side, it also goes off to the administration, BBMR, the CAO, the mayor, and the entire administration. I think that this was a great process. The last person I would like to thank is Chairman Costello. Obviously, he is at the helm for this council. I put many folks in positions to kind of help support us, whether it be it public safety or environment or youth and education, whatever it is. But from a budget perspective, Chairman Costello is at the helm in supporting our needs and working with us and being our cheerleader and being our point person. And I think you've done a great job for this entire body, for the administration, and most importantly for the constituents of Baltimore. So with that, thank you to each and every one of you who really took this process very seriously, was able to come together, identify some priorities, and really go after it in a meaningful way that was substantive and that did not impact city services. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn it back to you to call the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this total package of proposed amendments amounts to $10 million. At this time, I move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption, Mr. President.
No, we did, without objection, rules will be suspended. Hearing and seeing none, rules are suspended. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the motion. I move the resolution favorably.
Is there a second? It's been moved and probably seconded by Chairman Schleifer. At this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll. If you guys, this is, we are doing this as immediate adoption. This is not like a third reader roll. So you have to articulate your position. You can't just sit there, guys. So please say yea or nay. Madam Clerk, the floor is yours.
President Mosby.
Yay.
Cohen. McCray. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Porter. Costello. Stokes. Ramos.
The motion is approved. The resolution has been adopted. We will now move to bills on second reader. Before we do, I would like to recognize Chairman Costello again. Just for the record, just go on short titles again, Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we read short titles for second and third reader for the duration of the meeting.
Without objection, we'll be on short titles. Hearing and seeing none, we are. We had to do that because the resolutions were brand new. This is now actually second reader. So with that said, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the first bill on second reader.
City Council Bill 23-0381, ordinance of estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The body would like to recognize Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership throughout this process. I echo all the sentiments that you shared earlier with the council on the floor today. I want to specifically thank members of your staff, Dexter Lockame, Jennifer Haslam, Nate Poole, Aaron DeGraffenwright, as well as Sebastian Sadie from my office for all of their hard work throughout this process. Also want to take a moment to thank members of the administration, especially City Administrator Faith Leach, Chief of Staff Marvin James, Laura Larson, our Budget Director, Bob Seneme, our Deputy Director of Finance, Dominic McAlilly, Kimberly Rubens, and Nina Themlis in the Office of Government Relations. I want to thank all the folks from Council Services. I really want to thank each of the committee members as well as other council members for the great level of participation and productive dialogue that we saw in budget hearings this year. And finally, the most important thank you goes to Marguerite Curran, staff to the committee. This process simply does not work without her. Also should thank Ben Guthorn and the entire team from Department of Legislative Services. They have been working around the clock to support the amendments that we've proposed for the council's consideration. At this time, Mr. President, there is a package of amendments on my colleague's desk. I have described the one related to mayoralty related, arts and promotions. That is also put together with the package of 22 other amendments. Those 22 total $10 million. At this time, Mr. President, I move the amendments favorably.
Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Actually, we have to do a roll call. So, Madam Clerk, if you could please. No, that was for the amendment. So we have we've accepted the amendments. The amendment's been adopted. Mr. Chair, it's time for you to do a motion for the bill. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the ordinance as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. At this time, Madam Clerk,
Next bill.
you're going to ask for. We're not going to do same day. You have to ask for same day advancement.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the appropriate rules to permit same-day advancement from second to third reader for this bill.
Are there any objections? No objections to advance for second-day reader. We will. At this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll for the motion that has been moved and properly seconded.
Yes. President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen. McCray. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Porter. Costello.
Aye.
Stokes. Ramos.
The ayes have it. The bill moves for third reading for today. Next bill, Madam Clerk.
City Council Bill 23-0382, Annual Property Tax, Fiscal Year 2024.
At this time, the body would like to recognize Chair of the Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This bill will be printed for third reading and will take place again at 3 p.m. meeting. Mr. Chair, we have to go back because you do have to also ask for same-day advancement. So if you could please call a motion for Council Bill 230382.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the appropriate rules to permit same-day advancement for this bill from second to third reader.
Is there a second? It's been properly seconded, having been moved and properly seconded. I think we're supposed to also do a roll call for this, so please just do a roll call just in case. Yep, we're gonna do both.
first.
Yeah, we do BOV before that.
Yeah, so this one is live. This one's only on second reader for this round. What we still
Noted.
Roll. I'm going to call the roll. President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen. McCray. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Porter. Costello.
Aye.
Stokes. Ramos.
That is approved, and it will be on third reader at our 3 p.m. Meeting. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the next bill.
Yes. Mayor and City Council Resolution 23-0383, operating budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024.
The body would like to recognize Chair Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The bill will be printed for third reading. At this time, I'd like to call on Chairman Costello again.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the appropriate rules to permit same-day advancement from second to third reader for this bill.
Is there a second? It's been moved and probably second. At this point, we're going to go into roll call. Madam Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Yes. President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen. McCray. Dorsey. I apologize. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Porter. Costello. Stokes. Ramos.
The ayes have it. The bill moves to third reader for today. We'll now turn to bills on third reading for final passage that require invocation. No. Actually, we didn't advance them. We just did immediate adoption of the resolution, so we should be good there. So we took care of all three bills. We have to go to BOE, and then we'll be back at 3 o'clock. What time is it? So it's still 1:28, so plenty of time. So everybody should be back at 3 o'clock for us to close this out. Thank you for everybody for joining
3:30.
us. See you at 3 o'clock. Actually, before we close out, just in case, so we have enough time, 3:30. So we're gonna call on the special meeting for 3:30. We're gonna move it to 3:30. You can't do 3:30? It's gonna be longer than half an hour. Okay. Say that again. We're gonna keep it at 3, it's fine. So you can be here till 3:45? All right. So it stays at 3, everything remains the same. Thank you.